As the biggest reptiles on planet Earth, anacondas have a way of disappearing whatever they come across, quite literally. They swallow creatures so big that it's hard to fathom, and as soon as they catch something, it's definitely game over for the poor creature, which is exactly what we're about to see today. The giant anaconda was trying to swallow another, smaller but still huge snake, but it was having a bit of a hard time. Its massive jaw was wide open, and it was rolling around to try and force the entirety of the other snake inside. The other snake was still alive, by the way, and it even managed to crawl halfway out at some point, which must have been really interesting to watch. Here's a real shocker. What you're seeing here is an unbelievably massive python trying to escape from someone's farm after the owner was able to tie a rope around its neck so it couldn't regurgitate its food and escape. The greedy serpent had swallowed one of the farm's cows, one that was so big that the snake could barely move afterwards. The snake looked like something out of a movie, so whoever that farmer was, you gotta respect the amount of balls he had to be able to approach that thing and tie a rope around its neck. Take a look at this Burmese python trying to swallow an entire goat in one go. The snake had suffocated and killed the goat a while ago, which is why there were flies everywhere. After a bit of struggle, the cold-blooded reptile was able to get the goat all the way down its throat, but it was visibly exhausted. After wandering into a nearby village and swallowing an entire goat, this python was unfortunate enough to get discovered by the local residents, who were absolutely terrified and baffled by how big it was. The snake was moving super slowly, which allowed the locals to tie a rope around its neck and prevent it from attacking any of them or escaping. The snake was super heavy, especially with a fully grown goat inside its stomach, but the locals were eventually able to load it into a pickup truck and hand it off to forest officials. Here, we've got a huge anaconda that looked like a monster trying to devour an entire cow. The cow was definitely fighting back, but without much hope. The guy who was filming was trying to scare the snake as best as he could, but the salivating predator wasn't willing to let go of its prey. The poor cow was stuck in the muddy waters with the vicious snake squeezing at it as hard as it could, and it ended up suffocating it to death. We didn't get to see what happened next, but the guy was still trying to get the snake to let go of the cow when the clip ended. A disturbing scene was filmed here after a giant anaconda was able to capture a helpless capybara in the swamp and began wrapping itself around it. There was nothing that the poor capybara could do, and the giant snake squeezed it until there was nothing left to squeeze. The snake then began trying to swallow the dead capybara's corpse, and even though the capybara wasn't very small, the anaconda was able to swallow it whole in the end. I have no idea how it happened, but a fully grown donkey ended up inside the water with an enormous anaconda that couldn't wait to swallow it whole here. Maybe the anaconda ambushed it while it was trying to get a sip of water, but what is certain is that the poor creature wasn't going to live for long. The anaconda was trying its best to suffocate and kill it quickly under the water, but it didn't need to work that hard, as the donkey was getting submerged and drowning anyway. It was a horrific way to go, but the vicious snake got itself something to eat in the end. Likely an African rock python, this monster was trying to swallow a gazelle whole. It was a huge gazelle, with very big and sharp horns that caused a problem for the greedy serpent. The snake would have had no problem swallowing the entire thing in one go, but the gazelle's huge horns would end up stabbing it on the inside and causing it to internally bleed to death. The snake might have been the superior and more powerful creature, but this was obviously a battle that it could not win. There was no way for this giant python to get its mouth around the massive horns of the gazelle that it had killed either. These monsters never think things through, it seems. They just attack and try to figure everything else out as they go. It was obvious from the start that it was going to be a tough meal, but the salivating beast's greed blinded it seems. It stretched its jaws unreasonably wide, but it wasn't even close to wrapping it around the dead gazelle's horns. It was kind of funny watching it try, but also a little sad. It was a classic case of biting off more than you could chew. Eventually, the python gave up, leaving the prey to whatever lucky predator that might find it. Here's another one of the biggest snakes in the world trying to eat a whole impala. The poor impala had a broken leg, and there was no way it could have escaped from the bloodthirsty predator. It wrapped its body around the impala and began the usual process of squeezing tighter and tighter until the poor impala couldn't breathe. The unfortunate impala didn't stand a chance, as the python's powerful coils were too much for it to handle. It was a brutal scene by every sense of the word, but snakes gotta eat too, I guess. Hyenas are not immune to python attacks either. In this instance, a fully grown hyena was captured and killed by a massive python, and the snake was only having trouble trying to swallow it because it was too big, not because it was able to put up a good fight. Looking like a giant bag of flesh, this stubborn python just wouldn't give up. It was trying to swallow a huge goat that it had successfully killed, but no matter how much difficulty it encountered, the determined snake just wouldn't stop. It is so disgusting watching these snakes regurgitate their food. I have no idea what this one had eaten, but I think someone wasn't happy about it and ended up scaring the snake into vomiting its prey. Whatever that was, it was clearly long gone. Did you enjoy this video? Please let us know in the comments section down below. And don't forget to leave us a like and subscribe to the channel while you're at it. And please, turn on your notifications bell to get notified when we upload a new video. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.